Hello traders and welcome to tradingwithbill.com. I'm Bill, we're in Thailand, and I've got to tell you, we've got rainy skies, clouds and rain today on a Monday morning. Currently it is 6:55, which would be 19:55 on Wall Street on a Sunday night. Jay, it's good to be with you. Let's get started. What's the talk of yesterday? Of course, was the World Cup. The first half was pretty interesting. The second half, well, nosedive from there. I was pretty surprised. Since I've come to Asia, I've really learned about that football compared to American football. And I thought both goaltenders were horrible. I just thought they were really, really bad. Really, really sad. But the penalty, well, I'm glad they reviewed it. I'm glad they made a decision. I don't know if that guy tried to swipe the ball out with his arm, but it is what it is. But very interesting first half. I didn't make it through the whole second half. It was basically over by then. I think there was 15 minutes left of the game, and I gave it up. All right, let's get started. It's a Monday. Holiday today. Japan looks like Marine Day today, so there's no trading in Japan today. We got some China stuff coming out. GDP year on year, quarter on quarter, industrial production, retail sales, NBS press conference. That ought to be interesting. That's in the next 3 hours. We'll get that coming out. We move along here. Euro has trade balance. Actually, the London session is going to be kind of weak. There's not a lot going on in the London session today. It'll be a technical trading session. Once we get into the U.S., surprisingly enough, we have a lot of stuff coming out. We got core retail sales, New York Empire State Manufacturing coming out, retail sales in the U.S. session today. Canada has foreign securities purchases, and we've got some auctions going on. And we got business inventories month on month out of the U.S. So pretty moving in the U.S. session. I did check to see if there was earnings. For those of you who do watch earnings, there are no earnings out today. So I guess that starts next week. We'll hit fully into the earnings. Let's take a look at what happened on Friday. So here we are. Just take a peek around here. So oil is not below that 70 mark. It's still above that 70 mark. This, to me, just looks like an opportunity to buy. This just, oil's not going back to $60 a barrel, folks. That we know. But this just looks like it's an opportunity to buy. We've had the last 2 days, a little bit of movement, but at least we gotten a higher high and a higher low out of both days. So we'll see what happens as oil moves along today on a Monday. To the right of that, we have the dollar index. Dollar is currently at 94.67. It did spike, I think, just above 95, and that was pretty good there. Gold is hanging out at 117.61. Gold is really taking a beat. Look at that move to the downside on gold. Wow. Yeah, gold's taking a beating. Another one that's taking a beating, which is sad to say, is at the VIX. And, of course, that's the volatility of the U.S. Markets, stock markets, and the VIX, the S&P 500. The VIX is down at 12.18. We talked about this last week, that we were expecting this. It happens in the summertime. There are trades out there, folks. Believe it or not, I was at my charts on Thursday. And for those of you who sent me birthday wishes, thank you so much. It was really cool to see that. And had a good time on Thursday night. It was definitely quite interesting. It was a surprise. Actually, it was a surprise party I ended up at. It was kind of nice. The ESs are on its third day. It looks like it's got a higher low and it doesn't have a higher high yet, but looks like it's working on that there. If you take a look to the right of that, we got the Euro futures. Euro is bearish. I mean, it's just bearish, right? So we've had 3 days. Now we had a sideways action. Now currently we have a red candle on that. So that's what's going on in the markets. And we'll just keep it on this stuff. This is so interesting as we move into our summer months. And we're in the heat of it now, right? All right, let's get to the charts. I really don't have anything else as far as news and data goes, so let's get to it. Hopefully I'll do this correctly. There we go. Here's some charts. Let's take a look at. First one, of course, we want to look at, as we do every Monday, is we want to take a look at the euro dollar. So what happened here? The euro dollar just came down. Remember we talked about this, went sideways. Basically just continued to the downside. Now it's back out here. It's totally out of our range, right? Totally out of this range. So, of course, we're just going to get rid of all that stuff that is junk on the chart we don't need. I don't like junk on my charts. So, the trade here, I guess, would be off this 200 exponential moving average, like 1690. You can take this all the way down to 1690, get out about 1620 on the euro. But, look at these candles. Man, they are just looking small, weak. Not real excited about this trade, but I think it can work. We'll see what happens here. Doesn't look like a good start in Asia, to be honest with you. But that's what's going on there. Let's take a look at the pound dollar. I should have expanded that chart.
It's 7 hours.
So here's the pound dollar. So here's another pair that's in a disastrous state. Yeah, this just came down. Again, here's our ranges. So, if you took this, you can bring this actually down to here. Bang, right? This resistance level, I'm not too against, to be honest with you. I think I'm going to leave that. Yeah. I think that looks like a good move there. Now, do I want to really take this where we're currently at this 32.25 area, right? We got a moving averages of 210. I really don't like this at all. I know it's surprising that I say that, but I just don't like it, folks. I just don't like it. I want to see this, really, to be honest with you, I want to see this up here, right? Right, 32.40, right? 32.40, right? That's where we want to see this. And then we'll get to this 30, yeah, 32.40 sounds like a good idea to me. And of course, that is the wrong color, William. There we go. And then, we could actually really hammer this to the upside, so we can go in both directions with this. Like this 31.50 area. What do you think about that? Why don't we take it to the upside? So my point is, we have a couple of options here. You can take this trade. If it breaks below this 200, the 10 EMA stays on top of it, we can take it to the downside. You're going to get some trouble with 32.20. You got a 55 exponential moving average there. You do have a lot of junk left of the chart. You'd like to see this thing break to the upside. I don't see that happening, though. The chances of this going back up to 33.40, in the next 3 days is nil to none, right? Unless some news comes out that just something goes on here. And, as long as the dollar's in that 94.60 area going back to 95, this thing's going to just continue to the downside. It's just going to continue the downside. So realistically, we're looking at that, right? This is a nice trade, right? But realistically, we're looking at that. The bad thing is, again, we're in the middle of this range. It's a wide range, but we're in the middle of this range. Really doesn't help us out very much. But if we're going to do anything, we want to sell this, or maybe you want to take the bounce off this 200. What if this bounces off this 200 and heads to the upside? We're only at 32.30. This can take you all the way back up to 32.80, right? 32.80, you can make 50 pips if this bounces off this 200. Not a bad move. I got to tell you, not a bad move if we can get that to happen. Let's take a look at the Aussie. The Aussie is, mess of its own. Again, here we are, same situation. We're at resistance, folks, right? We're at resistance here. A lot of junk left of the chart. What are you going to do here? What are you going to do? Well, you could sell it. You're going to have a fight taking it to the downside. But, of course, you'd like to see this come up to this area here, 74.50, 74.40, and then take that and and then get yourself out at like 73.80. I love my 80s, 20s, double zeros, right? So get out of there. Again, the current trade though, right? The current trade is, why don't we just get out of it where it's at? Trade this where it's at, and that's a strong possibility. But we really like to see this pop up to 74.50, and then we can sell it from there. That looks good, but this Aussie is so bearish. It's just very, very bearish on the Aussie. All right, so what's over here? Oh, the New Zealand dollar. Yeah, let's take a peek there. New Zealand dollar. This was our fib that we put on. This really did nothing. It did come up to just, well, not really, but it came up almost to the 50%, and then just fell off. We were expecting it to fall off somewhere. I thought it was going to get up, up to the 618, somewhere in that area, and take the hit to the down, and then take the downside. It didn't do that. It basically dribbled along here, and then just fell off here. Now it's sideways here. There's nothing to do here on this New Zealand dollar other than think about how you're going to get into it to the downside, and that is right there at the 200 exponential moving average. That's where I'd want to get into it. I really don't want to get into it here. And coming right into support, to me, doesn't look good. All right, let's take a look at some Ichimoku stuff real fast. Some very interesting things had gone on while we were out there. Well, we're basically going to look at the same charts, just going to do them a little bit quicker. And that is, right, this is the euro. This comes down, bang, 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 down. Remember, if it's outside the cloud, it's bearish, right? If it's above the cloud, it's bullish, right? It's below the cloud here, it's bearish. Comes all the way back down, right? Below the cloud, comes into the cloud. Now you got to make a decision. You're going to get out or you're going to wait. Well, I would have waited because our future line, this red line, is not, it's not above it, and it's pointing now to the downside. Now, I know that's after, but it points to the downside, and this thing gives you a nice trade to the downside. You end up with a cross here, right, which is the current, and the red line is the future, just comes down, right? You're still in this trade. Now, here's where you got to make a decision. When are you going to get out, right? The rules is you stay in the trade till it breaks the cloud. However, once I would have seen this cross here, right, I probably would have bailed. Really, on this big green candle and then another green candle, yeah, I would have probably bailed on that. That would have been it. I wouldn't want to give anything more back. Now we're in an area where this is a great spot to just watch it. It's above the cloud, which means it's bullish, but we know from the previous candlestick chart that it's pretty bearish. So we'll see what happens here. I wouldn't do anything right now because we really don't have anything to go on here. We've got a pretty big cloud here in the past. And then, of course, you can always look back 26 periods. And this green line from back is showing to the downside. It's now pointing a little bit to the upside. So we'll watch that. So it'll be interesting to see how that works out on the on that. Let's take a look at the British pound. This is our fib last week, right? This comes up to the 50, right to the top of the cloud. What's the trick here? What if you were in this short here? This comes down, comes sideways, comes down, comes sideways. You're going to get out of this? You're not going to get out of it because it didn't close above the cloud. That's the trick. Don't close it above the cloud because this red line on this cloud is resistance. Right? And you ended up with a really nice trade. This thing just hammers it to the downside. Again, big green candle. Doji after that big green candle, right? You see a doji, what are you going to do? Here's a green candle. You're out. You're out of this trade. You're not going to get nothing back. It goes up. You could have reversed and took it to the upside. Goes right through the cloud, doesn't even pay attention to it. And now it's sideways. And our 26 periods backwards, which is our only lagging indicator on this indicator, shows us that it wants to go sideways. So nothing to do there, right? Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. All right, I don't see anything else that's really that much interesting. New Zealand dollar is not really doing nothing. Like I said, it's really in a bad spot. It's even in a bad spot on our chart here. We're in between two clouds here. It's sideways. You know, it did get respected though, right? There you go. There's resistance, right? Didn't get above it, and now it's just sideways. You know, this doesn't look appetizing at all. We'll just leave that alone. Traders, thanks for being with me on a Monday. I know the video is now a little bit longer, and that's because we're doing Ichimoku clouds, and so it's videos are a little bit longer, but I think it's worth it. I like these Ichimoku clouds. There's a lot. It's a good tool to use. Traders, again, thanks for being with me on a Monday. We'll see you tomorrow morning in Asia. Traders, always remember to trade smart, not hard. We'll catch you next time. Have a great trading day, my friends. Bye-bye.